Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome back to She Will Empower. I'm your host, Jessica Cherry, and if you're listening to this on Sunday morning on KWVH 94.3 Wimberley Valley Radio, I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm a strategic intervention and empowerment coach, an NLP practitioner, a women's networking and empowerment director, a certified sound bath practitioner, and your Tuesday morning wake up club host on 94.3 KWVH Wimberley Valley Radio, where we bring real talk, real tools, and real empowerment and local and amazing music straight to the airwaves. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. And if you're joining me from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen, welcome to this space. This podcast exists for one reason: to give you truth, tools, and transformation. And today we're going to talk about something that almost everyone over 35 experiences at one point in life, but very few people say out loud. And it's this: it's the midlife pressure cooker. It's the season of life where suddenly you're expected to raise children, attend all the sporting events, and volunteer at every kid function like you're making money off of it. And supporting aging parents, start driving them to doctor's appointments if you're their personal chauffeur, and hold the peak of your career and hustle to the top if you're not already there, and keep your marriage healthy and keep the home fires burning and the communication opening and balancing all that and maintaining friendships like nothing else in your life is going on, and staying healthy. So getting those macros, peptides, hormones in check, and looking good, staying young during all of this, okay? Like, that is a lot. Like, you have to look like you have it all together and look like you're not feeling any of this, right? And also be emotionally stable through all of this because everyone is depending on you. So you have to be the stable one here, okay? It's a lot. That is a lot on your shoulders. And somehow have it all together. Don't fall apart, because if you fall apart, the whole house of cards crumbles on top of you. So, are you feeling this? And if you don't, there's just more to clean up later, okay? There is no escaping this. It's all on your shoulders. Don't mess it up. So it's wash, rinse, and repeat. And that is your midlife. Who's feeling this with me? Because I'm feeling it. So get used to it and go get it. And there's no participation trophy at the end of your day. This is your life. And yet, here are the little seeds of doubt that you start to unconsciously plant. You quietly wonder, what is wrong with me? Why do I feel this way, right? Why do I feel so different? But today, I want to say something to you right away. Nothing is wrong with you. Midlife is not just a stage of life, it is an identity transformation. And when identity shifts, something else shows up: self doubt, imposter syndrome, second guessing, that quiet voice that whispers, I have to keep this up because there's no one else that can. So today, we're unpacking why imposter syndrome intensifies in midlife, why high achievers feel it the most, why transition seasons make it louder, and most importantly, how to move through the doubt and step into the next version of yourself with clarity and confidence. So, whether you're driving to work, walking the dog, folding laundry, or hiding in your car for 20 minutes of peace, you've picked the perfect episode. So, let's dive in. Let's start with something honest, because we're not She Will Empower if we're not honest. Midlife is often sold as a time when life is supposed to feel finally stable, right? So in midlife, you're supposed to have worked hard in your 20s. You're supposed to have built your career in your 30s, right? Did the grunt work, the climbing the ladder, all that. And so by your 40s or 50s, you should feel settled, secure, confident, in your prime, in your me era. Like you have this life thing together and it's all good, right? But here's what actually happens. Midlife is often when the pressure peaks, because suddenly you're in what sociologists call the sandwich generation. All right. This whole thing, there's a whole thing called the sandwich generation. You are caring for two generations at once, right? You're right in the middle of all of this. You are what is holding it together. All right. You have children who need you. You have parents who are beginning to need you again, emotionally, financially, physically. And on top of that, this is often the most demanding stage of your career. You have leadership roles in business, or you're launching a new business, which many in midlife do, or you have additional business opportunities, especially in this economy. I am seeing more people have second, third, and even fourth streams of income. So you have big responsibilities, teams depending on you, businesses depending on you, deadlines, expectations, visibility, right? Struggling to get all this on social media and that business life is not the same as when you were in your teens or 20s starting out your career. So there's a change in that. And suddenly, you're responsible for everyone else's stability. Your kids, your parents, your workplace, your household, your community. And sometimes you start to feel like the entire structure is sitting on your shoulders, which, quite frankly, it is. I mean, let's be honest here. And here's what most people never say out loud. Sometimes you wonder, how much longer can I hold all of this together, right? What happens if I'm not the strong one? How much of this would crumble to the ground? And for many of us, like I said earlier, for some of us, the entire structure would collapse. And that fact in itself is a lot of pressure. I'll give you my example. I take care of two small children and a parent, and I have multiple businesses, and I totally feel what I'm preaching here. This midlife era is a total pressure cooker. So know that you are not alone. It's a total Gen X millennial thing that we're all in right now. So let's talk about something important with this. This pressure often hits high achievers the hardest. Let me explain. People who are leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, caregivers, community builders, mothers, especially single mothers, which I meet so many of at my Ladies Lifestyle Network events, right? Also mentors, because high achievers are used to doing one thing, handling it, right? High achievers have handling it programmed in their brain, and everyone is used to leaning on them in the first place, right? Why wouldn't they handle it? They have handled it so many times. Should be a piece of cake to them. But high achievers are used to solving problems, getting things done, making things happen. People depend on you. You high achiever, you. Everybody looks at you and they know you're going to do it, right? And you have trained yourself to be the capable one. And everyone knows you are so there. You are the high achiever, and there's pressure of maintaining that. But here's the hidden cost of being the capable one. People assume that you are fine, even when you're not. And they assume that you have it handled, even when you don't and you're crumbling inside. And they assume you don't need the help. And eventually, you begin to believe that too. You start telling yourself, I should be able to do this. I should have figured this all out. I should be the stronger one in this. I should be the strong one. All that, it's all running through your head. But here's the truth. Midlife is not a test of your strength, it's a test of your identity. Because the version of you that got here is not always the version of you that's going to carry you forward. I'll give you a personal example. I lost both my grandfather and my stepdad about a year apart from each other, and I was the power of attorney and responsible for both funerals, which was intense. Plus, raising a baby and a toddler, finishing my master's degree in school, launching new businesses, keeping my marriage intact, selling houses, cleaning up everything after funerals, and I was crumbling. It was really, really hard. And I had to drive 6 hours away from home, and I remember it was one of the most loneliest times in my life, and everyone thought, "Just give it to Jessica, she can handle it." And when that era in my life was over, I developed severe panic attacks. They would last for days, and I was in my own personal situation, and it was rough. And I knew I was the strong one. I knew I was the strong woman everybody leaned on, and I always had been strong, and everyone knew me as that. But even after that time in my life, I developed an imposter syndrome from that experience. So let's talk about imposter syndrome because this is where things get interesting. Imposter syndrome isn't actually about competence, it's about identity expansion. So let me explain. Psychologically speaking, imposter syndrome appears when your external reality grows faster than your internal identity. Meaning, you get the promotion, you launch the business, you become the leader, you step into this visibility, and you reach a new chapter, but your mind hasn't caught up yet. And so suddenly your brain says, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are doing all this and that? And you think you can do all this? You're not ready for this. Someone is going to figure out you don't know everything, every single thing at all things all the time. And here's the wild part, the more capable you are, the louder this voice can become, which is wild, isn't it? Because capable people see the complexity of things. They know that they don't know. That's the kicker. And they understand the stakes, which makes them question themselves more. So, if you've ever had a moment where you've got promoted but felt terrified, or you've launched something exciting but felt like a fraud, or stepped into leadership but felt like you're faking it, that doesn't mean that you're incapable. It means something very important is happening and your identity is evolving. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. So let's talk about that. Many people reach a crossroads in midlife, the midlife crossroads, we'll call it. And sometimes it's triggered by something big, right? Now, something big could be a layoff or a divorce or a health scare or a career pivot, or children leaving the home, parents becoming ill, or sometimes nothing drastic happens at all, but something shifts inside of you. What used to energize you now drains you. And what used to feel exciting now feels heavy. And suddenly you start asking yourself questions like, is this a life that I actually want? And is this career still aligned with me? Is this what I want? Is this where I want to be? Am I still becoming the person that I want to be? Or am I on this path that's just getting me nowhere but stress and frustration, right? These questions can be deeply unsettling because for years you were focused on building, right? Building stability, building family, building career, building identity, building everything, just building, building, building. But midlife introduces a new question that many of us go through. It is, what have I built, right? Is this still for me? Is what I have built in my life still for me? And that is a really hard question to ask yourself. It means stopping the engine, taking a good look at it, and having that moment where you look at it and you're like, is this what I want moving forward? And it's a hard question to ask yourself. It seriously is. And also for the woman listening, hello, let's talk about perimenopause, elephant in the room, and what's actually happening to our bodies and all of this madness, right? It's a hard navigation to drive. We have hot flashes and car pickup lines, right? Our hormones are going crazy. We have weight gain, and then we have a gala to go to. But before we do that, we have dinner to cook for everyone. I mean, this is a crazy stage in this midlife. It's nuts. And there is a stage in every transition that psychologists call the liminal space. I hope I'm saying that right. It's liminal. This is the in between. So you're no longer the person you used to be, right? If you're in your 30s, 40s, you're not the young 20 something year old, all right? You're not the person that you used to be, but you haven't fully become the person you are becoming. And this stage, it's uncomfortable, right? It's like you don't fit into your blue jeans anymore that have been in the back of your closet. Yes, I'm speaking from experience here. And the brain hates uncertainty. The brain wants quick answers, it wants clear direction, and it wants immediate clarity. That is what the brain does. But growth rarely works like that, right? Life is not a straight line. And frankly, it wouldn't be as fun if it was a straight line, right? It's more like a roller coaster. It's more like a roller coaster. It's got some loops and turns that we're unpredicted. And also, sometimes life puts you in a pause. and a season where things get unclear, where you're questioning everything that you're doing. And the temptation in these moments is to rush, to grab the next job, the next opportunity, the next relationship, just to escape the discomfort of midlife. But here's the powerful truth: the in between is not a failure, it's a recalibration. And that is important to really understand. Midlife is a recalibration of your brain, of your nervous system, your identity, all of it. It's like you're recognizing everything, you're reorganizing it. It's like you turned on your iPhone, turned it off, and you're turning it back on. And then you get this surprise, and it's like, there's a system update, but you have to wait 30 minutes. And then you're stuck in the uncomfortable stage where you're like, oh, but my emails, oh, but my social media, oh, but I got a text. And you're in that waiting period. That's midlife. At least that's my definition of midlife. Let me give you a few real examples that happen every day in this real life midlife thing. So, example one is a woman who has spent 20 years climbing the corporate ladder, right? So, she's climbing the ladder, she's doing the job interviews, she's hustling, she's making everybody happy. She is climbing that corporate ladder and she finally reaches the executive role. Yay! Congratulations. And everybody's excited. And instead of feeling proud, she feels overwhelmed because the stakes are higher and more people depend on her outside of her family. Now she's got this situation, more people depend on her. She starts wondering if she deserves the promotion. That is imposter syndrome. All right. Now, let me give you another example. This is example two. Here's a mother whose children are finally becoming independent. So, for 20 years, her identity was caregiver or stay at home mom. And now she suddenly has this space in her day. It's the time. And instead of excitement for this space and time that she always wanted and she always complained about, instead, she feels lost. Who am I now? Which I see that a lot. I see a lot of stay at home moms that have poured into their children and watched their children grow up and supported them. And now their children are grown and they leave the home. And now she feels this question of, who am I? I spent all this time raising children and now they're gone. And it's such a weird stage because you're happy for them. And at the same time, you're also sad. And example three is a person whose parents begin experiencing health issues. So suddenly they're the organizer, they are the appointment scheduler, the financial helper, the emotional support. That is so taxing. And it feels like they're pulled in 10 directions at once. And that's really hard to live with because now you have added a person that you are taking care of in addition to your children and your family and your home and all the things, right? You got the children and now you have aging parents. And that's really hard to navigate. Or example four, here's another example, is someone that has built a career that they once loved. But now there's a quiet voice saying, there might be something more for you. But pursuing that voice feels really, really risky. So they question themselves. Am I being irresponsible? Am I crazy? What is wrong with my brain? I've worked so hard for this. What's going on? Or am I evolving? I don't know. These experiences are incredibly common, but most people think that they're alone in these situations. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to serve you this reminder: you are not alone. So let's talk about this and your nervous system, because that was a lot of different situations and feelings to unpack. And I know that each one of those examples, I personally know people that are living through it. So I know it's common. So, another piece of this conversation that we don't talk about enough is the nervous system, the midlife nervous system, right? Midlife is often when cumulative stress reaches a tipping point. So, midlife has been years of responsibility, career pressure, family obligations, right? We've got emotional labor. We got all the things. We've got all the things. Think of it as like a big basket, and each one of those is a piece of the basket. You got responsibility, career pressure, family obligations, emotional labor. Everything adds up. And your nervous system starts asking for a recalibration. This is why many people, especially women in midlife, experience burnout, fatigue, anxiety, restlessness, identity questioning. Your body is not betraying you. Your body is asking for evolution. And sometimes the life structure that once worked for you now needs some adjustment, right? Think of it as the check engine light turns on, right? You need some adjustments, you need some tinkering here and there. And it's not because you failed, all right? It's because you grew. It's like the caterpillar that changes into the butterfly, right? It's the season of change for you, and that's just the way it is. It's nothing wrong with you. I'll tell you what, Tony Robbins teaches something powerful. He says, your life changes the moment you change the meaning you give to things. So let's reframe that imposter syndrome. Instead of interpreting it as, I'm not capable, we can interpret it as, I'm expanding. And instead of thinking, I am falling apart here, I'm falling apart, it becomes this. That I'm falling apart becomes, I'm reorganizing, right? I'm reorganizing. I want you to say, I'm reorganizing. And instead of, I don't know what I'm doing, I have no clue, it becomes, I'm learning at the next level. That's important. Language matters because the brain responds to the story you tell yourself. And your thoughts are what drives you. And they say over 90%, I don't know the statistic off the head. I know it's over 90% of your thoughts are a carbon copy of the day before. And your thoughts create your feelings and your emotions and your behaviors and your habits. So, what you tell yourself in that brain of yours and how you talk to yourself is truly, truly significantly important. So, if you are in a season of change and questioning right now, questioning all these things to yourself, I want to offer you three questions. All right. If you have a pen and paper, write these down. If you don't, get out your cell phone, just write these down. And I want you to really think about these questions and take a moment and ask yourself. So, here's question one. What part of my life still energizes me? Not what should energize you, what actually does. So, question one, what part of my life still energizes me? I want you to take a good look at that because that's what your passion is. Now, here's question two. What am I carrying responsibly that is no longer mine to carry? And I know that's a loaded question. Many people in midlife are holding roles that need renegotiation, and that goes for business and personal. Think of it as the garage or your attic or even your work desk, right? Sometimes that baby needs some spring cleaning, right? Get that duster out, get some pledge, get something and wipe it down, throw away old things. That is your midlife moment. So get rid of the old mouse traps in the corner and those dusty, crusty, musty boxes that you haven't opened in 5 years, right? This is your time to do that, right? What am I carrying responsibly that is no longer mine to carry? And chunk it, dump it. It's not yours. Here's question three. Who am I becoming next? Not who you used to be, not what others expect you to be, but who you feel yourself evolving towards, right? What is your personal butterfly? Look forward and not out your personal rear view mirror, right? These questions, those three questions, create space for clarity. All right. So, did you get those three questions? One was, what part of my life still energizes me? All right. That was question one. Question two was, what am I carrying responsibly that no longer is mine to carry? And question three is, who am I becoming next? All right. Those are the three questions. Because the goal of midlife is not perfection, it doesn't exist. It's not perfection. The goal is alignment. And the most powerful people I know didn't figure everything out in their 20s or their 30s or beyond really. There's no age limit for figuring things out. We figure things out all the time, right? So these people that I know, they evolved, they questioned, they recalibrated, and they stepped into new identities again and again and again. And the truth is, your next chapter may be the most powerful one yet because now you have something that you didn't have before. And that is experience and wisdom and perspective and self awareness. And that is priceless. So if you're in a season where you feel the pressure on you and you feel the doubt that creeps in your mind late at night when you're in bed and you feel like you should have done something different or have it all figured out and you're behind or you're whatever, if you are self-doubting yourself, I want you to hear this really clearly. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not failing. You are evolving. Midlife is not the end of your story. It's often the chapter where we finally start asking, what and who do I want? And when you start asking the question, everything changes. Think of it as a book, right? Think of our life as a book. We are right in the middle where things get juicy. All right. The plot gets juicy, it thickens. It's like the good chapter, right? That's where we're at. We're in the good chapter of the book. And if this episode spoke with you today, share it with a person in your life who may need to hear it. And if you love today's conversation, make sure you follow She Will Empower on your favorite podcast platform so you never, ever miss an episode. And until next time, remember this: you're capable of far more than the doubt in your mind would have you to believe. I promise you that. You are capable of far, far much more. Your next chapter is still being written, and you hold the pen, and that might be the most powerful one yet. My name is Jessica Cherry, and this is She Will Empower. It's your space for truth, tools, and real transformation. No fluff, no bypassing, just the work that actually changes things. You can catch brand new episodes every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on KWVH 94.3 Wimberley Valley Radio. And of course, you can listen anytime, anywhere on your favorite podcast platform. Just search She Will Empower, and I'll be right there waiting for you. And if you're an early riser or you're trying to become one, come hang out with me every Tuesday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on the Wake Up Club on Wimberley Valley Radio. It's cozy, it's fun, it's full of great music and real conversations. And honestly, I know I'm being biased, but it's one of the best ways to start your morning feeling grounded, connected, and a little more alive. And if you're listening on my podcast, Wimberley Valley Radio also has an app that you can download and listen there. Now, if you're in Central Texas and your nervous system feels fried, overwhelmed, or like you're running on fumes for way too long, I would love to see you in person at Lone Star Sound Baths. Just search Lone Star Sound Baths on social media and you'll find me. I guide immersive sound bath experiences designed to help you soften, settle, and truly reset your mind, your body, and your spirit. It's one of the most healing offerings I provide, and serving our community in this way is something that I truly, deeply love. I love seeing people finally relax. And you can also connect with me through Ladies Lifestyle Network Hayes County, where I host monthly empowerment and networking events all across the Hill Country. These gatherings feature powerful women speakers, local nonprofits, incredible women owned businesses, and some truly beautiful, amazing venues. Women come here to these rooms to grow, to be seen, and to rise together. And I've watched lifelong friendships and game changing business connections form right before my eyes in these rooms. I love being the director of that. And if you want a more personal look behind the scenes of my personal life of motherhood, entrepreneurship, healing, and real life as it unfolds, real midlife, you can find me over on social media at Life of a Cherry Wife. And if you ever need help with social media and marketing, you can also find me on Howdy Social. Truly, Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for showing up, for doing the work, and for choosing growth, even when it stretches you. And before you go, I want you to do one small thing for your future self today, even something tiny, something that you've been putting off, because tiny moves add up. Tiny choices compound. And sometimes one small decision becomes a moment that changes everything. So get out your to-do list and that number 8 thing that's been on there, do that today. Tiny moves create big impact. That big impact could be the confidence boost you need today. So stay powerful, stay grounded, stay connected, and have the most amazing, beautiful day and week ahead. I'm Jessica Cherry, and I'll see you next time. Bye.